me to, is it Chael or Chael Sonnen?
Chael Sonnen, yeah.
Chael Sonnen. The UFC deal, you took so much grief.
Still do.
Oh, and it's mind-blowing
It's
to me.
crazy.
He's a really nice guy behind the scenes. I mean, do you have to hate your opponents to win?
Can I touch your hair? Can I feel? I love your hair, by the way.
Random.
It's never happened before, because everybody that's
on
sitting
live
in this
TV
chair
now.
is thinking it, I can assure you.
Welcome to the Dark Times channel. And before I get started, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button for me. And if you're not new to the channel and you enjoy the content so far on this channel, make sure you go ahead and hit that sub button for me as well. And so let's go ahead and get into it. I want to go ahead and dive into this interview with Jason Whitlock and Steele. 2 peas in a pod.
I want to play the clip. Chael, whatever.
Chael Sonnen.
Chael Sonnen.
You got it.
Yeah, he. Let's play the
He's a
clip.
good guy,
This is
yeah.
on ESPN, and Stage takes a lot of grief for this.
I mean, do you have to hate your opponents to win?
Can I touch your hair? Can I feel? I love your hair, by the way.
Random.
That has never happened before, because everybody
on
that's
live
sitting in this
TV
chair
now.
is thinking it, I can assure you. That's real hair, people, and it's very soft, I might add.
And before I give my take, let me just go ahead and say this. This is not about attacking conservatives or so-called black Republicans. You can be a black Republican. You can be a black conservative and not be a bootlick like Jason Whitlock and Steele. It's not about your political affiliations. It's about how you carry yourself, how you choose to carry yourself, the things you choose to say, the things you choose not to say in order to get a paycheck or in order to get a proverbial pat on the head by people within the dominant society. That's what it comes down to. And that's Steele and that's Jason Whitlock to a T. 2 peas in a pod. And so yeah, 100%. People within the black community were looking at Steele funny style after that. No questions about it. No questions about it. Because you're talking about a black woman. I know she identifies as biracial, but I'm gonna call her a black woman. And she probably hates it.
Well, I don't know when the last time I filled out my census was, but if they make you choose a race, she's like, what are you going to put? I go, well, both. She's like, well, you can't. She goes, well, what about Barack Obama chose black and he's biracial? Well, congratulations to the president. That's his thing. I go, I think that's fascinating considering his black dad was nowhere to be found, but his white mom and grandma raised him. But hey, you do you.
But when she looks in the mirror, she sees a black woman. When she walks down the street, people see a black woman. It's about how you look. Since race is a social construct, it doesn't matter how you see yourself. What matters is how everybody else sees you. And when people see Steele, they see a so-called black woman, or at least they used to. You know, she's going out of her way to distance herself from black people and to try to shame black people every chance she gets. So she probably gets somewhat of a pass here and there. But for the most part, people see a black woman. And that's exactly what this MMA fighter saw. He saw a black woman that he could take advantage of on national TV, because you probably saw her backstage and during the production meeting and probably saw how she was smiling in his face and grinning and skinning. And he probably said, oh yeah, I got this woman. I could pretty much do anything I want to this woman on national TV. And she's just gonna giggle it off. And that's exactly what he did. I want y'all to pay attention to how he grabbed her hair. It wasn't a curious grab or a curious touch. It was a grab. He pulled it, and she probably loved every second of it, just like he knew she would. She took no offense, because somebody like Steele worships whiteness and hates every ounce of black blood in her. If it wasn't for those Negro genes, she could have been white. She was almost white. And so when she looks in the mirror, she's got a level of self-hate and a level of self-vitriol, and she directs it at the so-called black community every opportunity she gets. And I want y'all to pay attention to how they try to justify this. I want y'all to pay attention to how they try to explain this.
Of like, oh, a white person wanted to know about your hair. That's racist for you letting someone touch it. From the moment this became a thing, I've always thought this is the dumbest non-controversy in the history of the world. There's an irreverent UFC fighter and stage has her guard down, and it's a personal, fun moment, and they've used it to say, oh, look at this woman, what a sellout. She let a white person touch her hair, as if, just keeping it real, if I haven't touched a white woman's hair, like, what's your hair feel like? All right, hey, your hair smells different than the black girl's hair. This is what people do. I'm just sorry. These are just facts.
Jason the Coon Butter Biscuit eating Whitlock, get the fuck out of here. This is what people do? If this is what people do, when's the last time you saw a so-called black man grab a white woman's hair on national television? Or grab any woman's hair for that matter on national television? Just randomly grab her hair. Yeah, that's something people do, but they do it behind closed doors. They don't do it on national television. There's a time and there's a place for everything. They may do it to people they know already, feel comfortable around doing, maybe in a romantic setting, but nobody's going around grabbing random women's hair on national television. And so this is what I'm talking about with these two individuals. It's not about their right-wing or conservative views. It's got nothing to do with that. I lean to the right sometimes, and sometimes I lean to the left. It just depends on what the issue is. So it's got nothing to do with their political affiliations. It's about stuff like this, making up all kind of excuses to justify this passive-aggressive, racist behavior, or inappropriate behavior at best. That's what I'm talking about, bending over backwards. They didn't have to address this. Nobody asked them to address this, but they made it a point to bring it up, as to try to shame the black community and pretend that we didn't see something with our own eyes. Did Lavar Ball get that same pass? Did Jason Whitlock or Sage Steele speak up on Lavar Ball being banned from ESPN for this?
Holla. Molly, go ahead. Go ahead
Lavar,
before I get back to him.
Lavar, can I switch gears with you because I have a question here?
You can switch gears with me anytime.
Let's stay focused here. All right. Can you?
Lavar Ball was banned from ESPN for telling Molly Quorum that he wanted to switch gears with her, that she could switch gears with him anytime. Innocent flirtation at best. There was nothing harmful about that statement. Nothing sexual about that statement, unless the individual wanted it to make it that way. Not a peep from people like Sage Steele, not a peep from people like Jason Whitlock. It would be one thing if they were consistent, with their views, but they're not. They're not. 365 days a year, they're tap dancing. If that's how you see it, that's how you see it. And you would be consistent in your views, and you would be consistent on calling out different groups of people. But the only people that they call out are their own so-called black people. And I want to go ahead and play another clip real quick. It's a clip of Sage Steele talking about how Shel Sonnen reacted after they were offset. And pay attention to what he says and pay attention to her response.
I literally had no idea it was a thing. Everybody was cracking up. And afterwards we got off the set and he's like, was that offensive? I'm so sorry. But I go, no, I think it's funny because you, and he's like, gosh, it's beautiful hair. We made it into a race thing as usual. And I'll admit this, and I've never said this publicly. Because of my white mom, I guess, I don't have black girl hair. I don't have ethnic hair. I have my crazy, wild, curly hair that I do wash every day, which is different from from black hair.
Yes.
But I didn't know that it was a thing.
Sage Steele is sick. This is a mindset of a sick individual. She said, I don't have black hair because of my white mom, I guess. I have my own crazy, wild hair. The fact that she chose those particular adjectives to describe her hair should let you know everything you need to know about this individual. All she had to say was, I don't have typical black hair. I have my own unique hair. That's all she had to say. That would have sufficed. But instead she went out of her way to say I have my own crazy, wild hair. Because if Sage Steele was white, or her hair was a different texture, She wouldn't have said, I have dead, stringy hair. No, she would have said, I have my own beautiful hair. That's exactly how she would have described her hair. But she doesn't see her hair like that. She doesn't see her hair beautiful. She doesn't see herself beautiful. And so she'll forever have a hatred for herself, whether she knows it or not, probably on a subconscious level. But that hatred is always going to be there, and that hatred is going to remain, and she's going to continue to take out that vitriol and that hatred upon the black community. And so right now, Sage Steele is doing her tour, trying to get seen, trying to get noticed, dog whistling, so she can try to get a job on any conservative network. At this point, she'll be happy to get on any conservative network and spew whatever talking points they give to her. That's all this is. This is a dog whistle interview. She was happy to go on Whitlock's show. And so I'm not going to spend any more time on this. This is just another interview that I came across, and I had to respond to this one. I had to respond. The level of self-hatred between these two is beyond me. And so that's all I have for this one, but make sure you guys put it in the comment section, and if you haven't hit that like button yet, make sure you go ahead and do that. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you go ahead and do that as well. And as usual, peace and chaos.